or low, each no larger than a dime. Which Virginia says the rules actually made her feel better. She said it felt good to work at a place that was serious because she hoped people would take her seriously. She actually gets very inspired working there, and she says that seeing how calm and de-stressed all the guests appear, which, I mean, makes sense considering Mar-a-Lago is, regardless of opinions, objectively a very exclusive club to get into. The initiation fees are in the hundreds of thousands, and it would make sense that the average net worth of a member would be at least a few million, but there are a lot of members that are worth billions as well. So yes, they should seem really relaxed. But at the same time, Virginia says she wants to work her way up to being a masseuse so that maybe she could, quote, make a living by helping others reduce stress. I believed I might finally leave my abusive past behind. Now, at Mar-a-Lago, she meets Donald Trump. And I will say, as an American, the mere mention of Donald Trump's name, who happens to be the president, makes people break out into a sweat for vastly different reasons. And I'm not here to convince you of one thing or another. I think I've made my political stance pretty clear over the years, but we try as a team on RM specifically to make sure that the main message of each video, though, I do believe that our bias do tend to creep in, politically speaking, not because of our lack of trying, but because we are quite passionate outside of these episodes. But for this episode specifically, we are going to try to swim across the Pacific and try to take out all the political opinion. There are a lot of great channels that cover the topic in depth with a lot of political insight and opinions. Great channel is, again, subjective. What I think is great, you might not think is great. I don't think that those channels are lacking from any platform, but our intention is that this serves as a deep dive so you can see the social commentary or the feelings behind each person named and listed instead of me just telling you how I feel about it. It should, in theory, give you a much clearer vision of all the things that are being said out there online. So if we just showcase our thoughts and feelings, it would not be as broad of a view. So with that being said, Virginia does meet Donald Trump. Thank you to Netflix for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. As many of you guys know, I spent months researching one thing that about the murder. Things got really dark for me. I want theories that no definitive theory like who's which is of course couldn't have been friendly. She is introduced by her dad, and she says Trump couldn't have been friendlier, telling me it was fantastic that I was there. Do you like kids, he asked. Do you babysit at all? He explained that he owns several houses next to the resort that he lent to friends, many of whom he had children who needed tending to. I said yes, I had babysat before. She says, soon I was making extra money a few nights a week minding the children of the elite. That is, until one day, there is a car driving behind her, slowly, on the property, Mar-a-Lago property. The car has tinted windows and a man in the front, Juan Alessi, the driver, and in the back is just one Mar-a-Lago member, Ghislaine Maxwell. Virginia writes that she never even knew that this car spotted her walking to work until way later. But, quote, I didn't know it yet, but once again, a predator was closing in. This one, however, would prove different from any I've met before. This was an apex predator, as greedy and demanding on the inside as she appeared to be beautiful, eased, and self-assured on the outside. Again, I wish I could say that I saw through Maxwell's polished facade, that I felt the immense threat she posed to me. Instead, my first impression of Maxwell was the same one that I formed when I greeted any well-heeled Mar-a-Lago guest. Quote, I'd be lucky, I thought, if I could grow up to be anything like her. Virginia doesn't meet Ghislaine Maxwell until one day the other girl that works at the spa can't be at the front desk. So instead of tending to the locker room, suddenly Virginia's at the front desk. And it's so slow, she's just reading her book on massage therapy because, again, her dream is now to become a masseuse. And then she looks up and there's this woman with a hideous bob and a British accent. Virginia doesn't stoop so low to call Ghislaine's bob hideous. In fact, I guess you could say Ghislaine's bob is objectively chic, I guess, if you are threatened with a weapon, but Ghislaine and her hideous bob, okay? And her bag that probably cost more than Virginia's dad's car is how Virginia sees it. But she shakes Virginia's hand and introduces herself as Ghislaine Maxwell. She looks down at Virginia's massage book. Are you interested in massage? How wonderful. Do you massage on the side? Virginia says she starts freaking out because she's like, oh no, I don't want to give this person the wrong impression. Like, I'm not even trained, but I hope to learn someday. I'm sure you'd be terrific. Ghislaine tells her that she's friends with a very wealthy man, also a member of the Mar-a-Lago Club, who is looking for a massage therapist who can travel with him. Will you come in for an interview? Virginia's hesitating, but Ghislaine picks up on it and tells her it's not about what she knows right now, it's about her determination to learn. If she can impress this wealthy rich man, he would be more than happy to fund her training sessions. He's a mathematician. He's got this knack for making money and he loves helping people. Besides, he